The studio lights blazed down on the set of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, casting a warm glow over the iconic desk where Stephen sat, his signature grin in place as he prepared to welcome his next guest. The audience buzzed with anticipation, their murmurs filling the air like static electricity. Tonight's episode was a big one. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, was making a rare television appearance to promote her new Netflix series, With Love, Meghan, and her lifestyle brand. As ever, the crowd had been prepped with clips of her cooking show, showcasing her charm in a staged kitchen, and the internet was already ablaze with opinions, some praising her entrepreneurial spirit, others skeptical of her pivot from royal duties to Hollywood. Backstage, Meghan stood in the wings, her posture poised but her eyes darting nervously. She adjusted her emerald green dress, a custom piece that screamed sophistication, and whispered to her publicist, "This has to go perfectly." The narrative's already slipping. Her team had been meticulous, vetting questions with Colbert's producers to ensure the conversation stayed light. Recipes, philanthropy, maybe a coy mention of Prince Harry and their kids, Archie and Lilibet. But Stephen, known for his sharp wit and knack for disarming guests, had a glint in his eye that suggested he might veer off script. As the stage manager counted down, Meghan took a deep breath, her mind racing through the stakes. This was her chance to reshape public perception, to show she was more than the royal renegade the tabloids painted her as. The band struck up a jazzy tune, and Stephen's voice boomed, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Meghan Markle." The audience erupted, and she stepped into the spotlight, her smile radiant but her heart pounding. Stephen rose to greet her, his handshake warm but his gaze probing, as if he sensed the weight she carried. They settled into their chairs, and the interview began with the usual pleasantry as to her journey from actress to duchess to entrepreneur, her love for cooking, the inspiration behind her brand. But the air shifted when Stephen leaned forward, his tone playful yet pointed, and asked, "Meghan, you've been in the headlines a lot lately. Some say you're stealing the spotlight from the royals across the pond. What do you make of that?" The question landed like a pebble in a still pond, ripples spreading through the studio. Meghan's smile tightened, her mind flashing to the Daily Mail headlines accusing her and Harry of Sussex distractions timed to overshadow King Charles and Prince William's engagements. She laughed lightly, deflecting with, "I think people are just interested in what we're building here. It's about creating something positive." But Stephen didn't let it go. "Sure, but there's a pattern, right? Your Netflix show drops the same week as Kate's big charity event. Coincidence or strategy?" The audience chuckled, but Meghan's jaw clenched. She hadn't expected this, not from Stephen, who'd always seemed sympathetic to her story. "I don't control the news cycle," she said, her voice steady but her eyes flashing. The tension was palpable now, the audience leaning in, sensing something brewing. Stephen, ever the showman, pivoted to her Netflix series, asking about the controversy over filming in a staged kitchen rather than her Montecito home. "People say it feels inauthentic," he pressed, citing a Fox News report. Meghan's response was measured but sharp. "I have 2 young kids. I'm not inviting a film crew to disrupt their lives for the sake of optics." The crowd applauded, but Stephen's next question cut deeper. "Is it about protecting your kids, or protecting your brand?" The studio gasped, and Meghan's face froze. She leaned forward, her voice low but firm. "Stephen, I'm here to talk about my work, not to be dissected for clickbait." The host raised his hands, feigning surrender, but the damage was done. The interview was spiraling, and Meghan felt the weight of every camera lens, every whisper in the control room. She'd walked into this hoping to charm, to connect, but now she was cornered, and the world was watching. Backstage, the atmosphere was electric with tension as the show cut to a commercial break. Meghan's publicist, a wiry woman named Claire, rushed to her side, whispering fiercely, "We can pull the plug if this gets worse." Meghan shook her head, her lips pressed into a thin line. "I'm not running from this," she said, though her hands trembled slightly as she sipped water from a glass. She'd faced tougher rooms, royal aides who'd whispered about her difficult behavior, tabloid editors who'd twisted her every movie, but this felt different. Stephen Colbert's stage was supposed to be friendly territory, a place where celebrities polished their image, not where they were grilled like politicians. In the control room, producers exchanged frantic glances. "He's pushing too hard," one muttered, while another countered, "This is gold, it Twitter's gonna explode." Back on set, Stephen was reviewing his notes, unfazed by the storm brewing. He'd built his career on balancing humor with hard-hitting questions, and Meghan was no exception. He respected her hustle but sensed an opportunity to peel back the polished exterior, to get at the real story the public craved. As the break ended, the cameras rolled again, and Stephen tried to lighten the mood, asking about her friendship with Oprah and the advice she'd received while launching as ever. Meghan seized the chance to pivot, her voice warming as she recounted Oprah's wisdom. "She told me to stay true to my vision, to block out the noise." But Stephen, ever the provocateur, couldn't resist another jab. "Noise like the royal family drama? There's a new book out at Tom Quinn's. Yes, Mama claiming you and Kate had a tearful clash over Princess Charlotte's bridesmaid dress. Any truth to that?" The audience sued, and Meghan's composure cracked. Just for a second, her eyes narrowed, and she leaned back, crossing her arms. "Stephen, I'm not here to rehash old gossip," she said, her tone icy. "That was 7 years ago. I've moved on, and I wish others would too." The crowd was split as some clapped in support, others whispered, sensing defiance. Stephen, undeterred, pressed on, "But it's not just gossip, is it? The book says both you and Kate were in tears, and staff called it a AS show. That's a pretty vivid picture." Meghan's face flushed, and she shot back, "Vivid doesn't mean true. I'm focused on my family and my work, not palace rumors." The exchange was a verbal